Let's go to Lori in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. What's up, Lori?
Hey, Dr. John. I feel like we're old friends. I've never missed a show. And this week I listened to your 300th episode, so congratulations on that.
Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I am first in line to think we were not going to make it that far. Having fun. Thank you for riding in our gang, man. I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
So what's up?
So today I just have a question about guilt. So last September, my uncle died unexpectedly, and I was appointed the executor of the estate. He lived in New Orleans. I live in Wisconsin, and my brother at the time lived in Alaska. And I was starting a new job at the end of September, and time wasn't really something we had much of. So my brother flew from Alaska to St. Louis, and I flew to St. Louis to his brother-in-law's house. And then we drove to New Orleans, where I rented a U-Haul just to take back, a few things from my uncle's house. So when we got there, we just tore through the place like a tornado. And what we were basically looking for were, important documents. The deed to the house, were there any tax forms, his wallet, his checkbook, bills, any financial documents. And I just feel very guilty that we went into this man's house, just went through everything. Obviously we couldn't keep much. And I just feel really bad that we seem to just throw this man's life away. And this was right after Hurricane Ida had came through. So FEMA was still picking up all these, garbage at the end of the curb. But basically, we ended up throwing out most of this man's possessions. We did work with the local church agency where we donated a bunch of stuff. But, he was a police officer most of his life, and he had certificates and awards and plaques and badges. And, we couldn't keep all that, and we threw it all away. So fast forward to this year, where I am now, and my dad is on hospice. He's probably not going to see September, and I'm going to be in the same boat. Obviously, my brother and I will have more time. He does live back home now. But this is the home that I grew up in as a child. And how do I just go through that home and just get rid of everything?
Yeah. Number one, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
You must be somebody special for both of these men, these important men in your life, to appoint you as the person to see through things.
Right.
Pretty cool. And come on, man, could they have picked somebody else, right? It's both in. So guilt is good. Let's don't try to avoid guilt, okay? I don't think guilt is the challenge here. The challenge here is, do you have a good relationship with your uncle? Do you like him?
Oh, yes. He was my best friend.
Yeah.
And, it just was so unexpected. That was quite a shock.
Yeah. I'm thinking of my uncles, and I've got several of them, and they all have very particular ways they dress. And I got some real eccentric uncles and some straightforward uncles. I got one uncle that smells a little bit like leather, cowboy. Got an uncle that's a tech guy, kind of smells like an iPhone, I guess. I don't really know what that smells like, Google, I guess. Here's what I'm getting at. It was about a year ago. I was cleaning out some things in my closet, and I found a jacket, like a sports coat that my granddad used to wear. My granddad died. One of the greatest men I've ever known, greatest men I've ever met. And I kept that jacket. It didn't fit. I always had dreams of it fitting and then getting it fixed and tailored. And I've carried it around for a long, long time. And he actually gave it to me before he died. So I've been carrying it for years. And I was getting rid of clothes, and I put it back on the rack, and then I took it off. And here's the words I said to myself. My granddad is not in this jacket. And I put my hand on my chest, and I said, my granddad's right here. And your uncle's not in those certificates and those badges, and he would have told you, throw all that crap away. You know what I mean? And yet, there's something that tells us, no, uncle, whoever is in that stuff, and he's not. He's with you. And then with your dad, very, very similar. Can your dad still hear you and understand you?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Have you written him the letter and read it to him yet?
No.
You need to do that ASAP.
Okay.
What he means to you, what what you're going to take from what he gave you and how you're going to communicate that on. How his life meant something. And then what you will have is one of the most precious moments a person can have on planet Earth, which is the moment to consciously and directly and with love say goodbye. With purpose and meaning and dignity. And then you're going to have to tell yourself he's not in that stuff. I would also challenge you to tell your place where you work, if it at all possible, dude, I need a week off because my dad died.
Mm-hmm.
And God help them if they don't give you a week off. Good grief. Or 2 weeks, for crying out loud.
Right.
I've known people that turn objects into people. And that's a life of misery. Okay?
Yep.
And all the things I'm saying are not easy. None of this is easy. Are there a couple of sentimental things about that you remember from your dad?
Oh, yeah. He was into model trains, so, he's got all this model train sets and stuff, and my brother nor I are interested in that.
Right. Don't throw those out. There's some wackadoos who want to buy some trains, man. You want to sell those. That paid for your retirement, but
yes.
But maybe grab one that you love, that you remember.
Yeah.
I had a ceramic, I don't know why. I had a ceramic, my grandmother collected ceramic birds. And every time I walked in the house, she reminded me, you're not allowed to touch those. This is going to shock you, Lori, but I was a bit destructive as a child. I was just chaotic and like a ball of energy. Luckily, I've grown up and I've become very still and on time and right, whatever. And when she died, right before she died, she said, like, anything you want from here. And I was like, I need that ceramic blue jay and that ceramic cardinal. And that's what I got. I got those two things. And she's not in those things. She's in my heart. She's in my raising of my kids. But I keep those two things. And whenever I see a cardinal out, when I'm hunting out in the woods or something, I see a cardinal and I just smile. Right? And so when my dad passes away, there's 2 or 3 things. I've already told my brother and sister. I get these 3 things. And anything else, then whatever, just give it away. But there's a couple of things that mean a lot to me that just remind me of my old man. Right? He's not in them, but they remind me. So maybe think of a couple of things and say, these are going to be mine. A pocket knife and a badge and a train. Right? Something like that. Mm-hmm. And then everything else, man, he's just not in that stuff.
That's true, yes.
But I sure think this is way more related to the loss, the sudden loss, and the pending loss than it is about the guilt over the homes. I think guilt is probably misplaced grief.
Yeah, I think you're right now that you've explained it that way.
Your life will be really rich if you write that letter and read it to him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I need to get working on that.
Today?
Today, yes.
Lori. Okay. After he passes.
Yep.
You don't have to, but I welcome. If you want to send me a draft of the letter, I'll read it over the air so people can know how great your dad was.
That would be wonderful.
Cool.
To honor him like that.
And you could tell him, there's this podcast that like 13 people listen to, Dad. We're gonna blow you up on it. It'll be fantastic.
We're gonna be famous.
Dad, you're gonna be famous. And he's gonna say, I heard that podcast. I probably don't want to be on that one. Can you get me on Joe Rogan's podcast? It's way bigger. That'd be fantastic. Hey, can I tell you this?
Sure.
Man, I can't tell you, as the dad of a 6-year-old little girl, I hope my baby girl loves me in my final days as much as you love your old man.
She will.
He's a lucky... I'm kind of a mess. But your dad, man, God almighty, what a lucky, lucky man. What a lucky man to have Lori as his eldest, as his daughter. Incredible. Thank you so much for calling. Let us know how that reading him that letter goes. And if you, any way possible, read it in person. It's worth the plane ticket. Even if you don't have the money, it's worth the plane ticket. Go down there and make sure you see him in person. And then think of a couple things. and then get on out of there. He's not in those things. And everybody listening, people aren't in stuff. Your worth is not in the certificates. Your worth's not in the trophies. Your worth's not in little plaques. Your worth is in the lives you changed. Your worth is in the hearts you filled up. Your worth is in your spiritual life, and your worth is innate. You have worth.